Matt Burney or Mike Beer taking a look at the Grade 3 Charlestown Oaks from Charlestown Saturday night. Scheduled post time. It's a late one. 10:18 Eastern. Hopefully you've still got some money left in your DRF Bets account by the time this race rolls around. Let's take a look at the field. It's an overflow field. We've got a big field of 14, but you've got 4 of them on the AE list. There are 10 in the body. And, you know, you can go a number of ways in here. I don't think there's going to be any slam dunk of a favorite. I would assume Tecalita is probably going to be your post-time favorite, but boy, that's going to be a tepid one at best.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I don't envy whoever had to make the morning line for this race. It's a wide open race, as you already mentioned. There are 10 of them. I felt like there were so many different ways to go that, you know, whoever was going to be the favorite, I kind of just didn't want that horse. And that's not a knock on Tecalita. I feel like she is the horse to beat in this race. I just don't know how short a price I'd be willing to take on anybody in here because it's such a well-matched field.
What did you think of Tecalita's return in the test? That seems like 7/8 of a mile, one turn. Keep in mind this race is a 2-turn 7/8 of a mile race.
Yeah.
All things considered, when you've got a horse like American Gal, what did you think of the effort from Tecalita?
I thought she ran great in there. I think she did the very best she could do. And now listen, I think that's sort of her game. You know, that 7 furlongs around one turn, and you know that's what she really wants to do. And she was turning back in that race, of course, and I think that helped her. But I thought she ran great in that race against a horse who's just better than she is, an American Gal. That was a good performance from her. I basically, you know, I think you could just go through her races one after another and just think she's run well right along. I think she is the horse to beat in here. And in a lot of ways, 7 furlongs is good distance for her. I don't care about 2 turns necessarily. I think she wants a 1-turn sprint kind of race, but I think she'll handle 2 turns just fine. I think they have her to beat in here.
For what it's worth, we're taping this Thursday afternoon. She's cross-entered also in the Dogwood at Churchill Downs, but it sounds like they're coming here to the Charlestown Oaks because there's more money and it's a grade 3 as opposed to a $100,000 non-graded event. The number 3 is Overture for Bill Mott. This is a horse that I've never been particularly fond of, but she has speed in a race that we'll talk about the pace projector in a little bit, but I just, there's a part of me that wonders, is she as good as her page would suggest?
Man, I'm starting to think not. I was a big fan of hers early on. I really liked her first couple of races and felt like she had some real ability for Mott. And she's kind of lost me. I know she's got a grade 3 win 2 starts back, but they just basically handed that race to her on a silver platter. Can she win the Charlestown Oaks? Yes, she can. Do I want to bet her as one of the favorites? No, I don't.
Currently, the horse breaking from the far outside is the number 10 Downtown Mama for Linda Rice and John Velasquez. And as we talk about Downtown Mama, let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Now, you and I tend to disagree. They have this favoring horses on or near the early lead, and they have Downtown Mama clearing to the front. I don't doubt that Downtown Mama is going to be forward. I just don't know that it favors horses. Well, it's a tough thing to say.
Yeah.
From a pace standpoint, I don't know that it helps, but from a position on the racetrack,
yes,
I think you have to be relatively close.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this is more of a positional thing where you almost have to be within range by the time you hit the far turn, or you're almost dead. So I do think guys will be looking for position. Does that? So maybe it does favor horses on near the lead.
Yeah,
I don't know if the pace scenario necessarily favors that either, because I think there's more speed than that in this race. And I don't know that I think Downtown Mama, as much as I like her as a horse, and I think she's good, I don't know if I think she's fast enough to clear this field from post 10.
The fact that she ran, let's just say, decent enough last time out, she wasn't fantastic.
No.
But do you think that was just an indictment on her from where she is class-wise, or was it the wet track that she was
It could have been that. I mean, she was sort of, you know, the horse that won that race, Vertical Oak, loves a wet track. So she just really had no chance to go with that horse from the top of the stretch. On the other hand, she had shown in her debut that she'll handle a wet track herself. She got a really good trip in that race, sort of sitting right up close on the pace with the winner. And she was no match for that horse through the stretch. So I was a little disappointed with how she ran. I do think she's better than that, though.
We already discussed Overture. The horse breaking from post position 9 is Sine Wave. Now, Sine Wave was the runner-up in the Monmouth Oaks. She's also cross-entered in the Cotillion at Parks on Saturday afternoon. Overall thoughts on Sine Wave in that Monmouth Oaks and where she fits here if she goes here?
I thought that she ran fine in the Monmouth Oaks. I think the winner was just way the best in that race. I think she's pretty good. I don't mind them cutting her back. I actually feel like going shorter might actually really benefit this horse. Just the question whether you think she's good enough.
Money Spunt goes west, comes from the west, I should say, goes east for Doug O'Neill and Drayden Van Dyke. She most recently was put up via disqualification in the Torrey Pines. That was the first time, really, that she's been able to go 2 turns ever since the second lifetime start. First time for O'Neill and company, who claimed her for 32, 3 starts back. I guess the question is, ultimately, from a buyer standpoint, she fits. From a Timeform standpoint, she's actually a little bit on the slow side.
Oh, is that right? She doesn't have the Timeform figures. All right, it's interesting, though, because, you know, for a prior connections, they were obviously racing her cheaper. She was winning races for them, but it does sort of look like O'Neill's really improved her since he's taken over. I mean, her figures have gone up. He's bumped her right up in class, and she's handled that, and she got the 2 turns last time. I mean, I have a really hard time just sort of like dismissing her in this race. I think she's a huge contender in here.
Chanel's Legacy most recently ran in the test. Ever since the test, we've had a trainer change. Now she's in Dave Canizzo's barn.
Yeah.
I've always liked Chanel's Legacy. I think she's an honest horse. She may not be the fastest horse in the world, but there's a part of me that thinks that she's going to be able to handle this 2-turn sort of configuration in Charleston.
I agree with that. You know, she looks a little slow on paper, but she has almost that look to me like the perfect fit for this track and this distance. She's a little bit of a tweener. You know, she can sprint, but she's not a great 6-furlong horse. And she can go long, but she's not a great 2-turn route kind of horse. She probably fits this race perfectly. It's just a question of whether she's good enough to beat some of these horses. I won't be surprised if she isn't. She might be a big price.
Burned is a horse that has always hinted at ability down on the inside for Graham Motion.
Yeah.
She's shown early on that she can do a couple things. She can win from off the pace. But she's been thrown to the wolves in the most recent starts, and then literally the most recent start. I'm just drawing a line through it because we talked about it. Where's the turf pedigree here?
Yeah, it's odd that they ran her on turf last time because she has no pedigree for it, and obviously she didn't run very well on the racetrack either. I won't hold the coaching club against her. I just feel like she got in a little bit too tough in that race. Her Delaware Oaks didn't do a lot for me, but it's not like it was a total disaster. I mean, I like basically all of her races. I think she's pretty good. I love that she's drawn inside, and while she's not a burner, she's not slow either. I don't think she has to get totally outrun in this race. I'm hoping she gets a good position in this race and maybe makes a little bit of a run at it.
Drawn just to her outside is a stroll in the park for Larry Jones. I suppose the 2 most recent starts, if you want to say the most recent one, the wet track, maybe she didn't love.
Right.
2 starts back, she had a disastrous start in the Miss Preakness.
That's true.
Prior to that, you've got a horse that just wins by open lengths against weaker.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in where do you think she's going to be positioned on the racetrack?
I think, assuming she breaks this time, I think she's going to be close in this race. I think she has enough speed to get up close. You know, I don't love any one of her races necessarily, but I do think she can get the right trip in this race, and maybe she's one of those horses who can just rebound at a big price.
Todd has Stay Fond in here with Javier. This is the 4 horse. On paper, she really hasn't done anything to make you think that this is a horse that's ready for a test like this, but at the same time, I have to respect anything Todd sends to a racetrack like this.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's interesting that he has her. She's another one who's cross-centered, but I think she'll probably run here. They should run her here, and if they do run her here, I'm going to use her. I liked her first couple career starts. I really liked her maiden win at Gulfstream, the 1-turn mile. I thought that she actually ran really well in that race. I'll give her the pass for the sloppy track last time. She was probably best 2 starts back. She didn't win at Saratoga that day. She was basically eliminated at the start of that race, and it was almost amazing that she made it as close as she did in there. She actually ran really well. I think she could win this race.
Our Angel Caitlin is the last horse in the body of the field currently that we will go over for Gerald Bennett. She really hasn't done anything wrong. 9 times in the money out of 10 lifetime starts. She has to be forwardly placed. I can't imagine her coming from too far out of it. I wonder if she's this good, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder if she is too. But you know, I have to believe Carmouche is sending her early in this race, and either looking for the front or looking to get right up on the pace. And I think that'll work for her. She doesn't have any figures really. She's just not, that sexy on paper. She runs every time.
Before we get to the selections, we're not going to go through all the also eligibles, but just without being Captain Obvious, if Shimmering Aspen gets into the field, she's a major player in this spot.
Yes, if she happens to get a couple horses to drop out and she can get in, you would be remiss not to use her.
She's probably going to be the favorite. But again, we're not going to go over all the A's. Let's take a look and see where we did decide to go here in the Grade 3 Charlestown Oaks. You're going to go to the inside with Motion and Burned.
Just wanted a horse who I felt like would be a halfway decent price, and I'm hoping she can get the right trip in this race. I'm not totally against her going the 2-turn 7/8.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of price I get on Money Spunt here for O'Neill and Drayden Van Dyke. I just thought the Torrey Pines was a major step in the right direction, and it kind of alleviated my concern that 2 turns, I don't know that she really wants to do that. That's not going to be an issue. We'll find out what we get for a price, though, on Money Spunt. Race number 12, Charlestown, 10:18 Eastern. It is the Grade 3 Charlestown Oaks. Mike's going to go with Burned. I'm going to go with Money Spunt. Whoever you go with, best of luck.